This is Charleston's retirement coach, Brandon Bowen.
And I'm Heather Branch here with Brandon, asking for his insight on the things you can get to work on now and effort to prepare as you get closer to that retirement goal line. Thinking about your financial future, finally crossing over into this phase of life you've been working so hard to get to. You can get started working on these things with Brandon. Visit us at bowenwealth.com. We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there, or again, find us anytime at bowenwealth.com. All right, so going to get a little touchy-feely here, a little personal, because, I mean, the idea of legacy planning, I think that there are a few conversations so personal.
Yep.
And I think that the idea of kind of leaving this planet and leaving people behind is what makes people not want to talk about estate and legacy planning. Mm-hmm. But what we like to talk about is how if you don't make these decisions while you're here, somebody else is going to make them for you when you are gone. And that to me is much scarier than the idea of being gone in the first place.
Yeah, I like to say the state of South Carolina has a plan.
That's right.
If you don't have a plan.
And not only the state of South Carolina will do the planning and deciding for you, but that puts your family and your loved ones in a whole other situation. We could go on and on. We could just go down a whole tirade of, this is what you really want to have happen? No.
Right.
But lessons learned, I mean, I think especially in this space, we often learn a lot of lessons through the conversations that we have and hear with other people. So you may be familiar with the name Pat McAfee. He is a former NFL punter. If you love college football, you know him. He's he's one of the many outspoken analysts on ESPN with College Game Day. And also he hosts his own YouTube program, The Pat McAfee Show. Last month, things got personal when he was talking about the recent passing of his father-in-law. And this is what he was saying about his wife and his family.
Whenever something blindsides an entire family like that, obviously it can be wildly devastating. My wife is a daddy's girl. She actually has a bear tattooed on her because she calls her dad Papa Bear. She has her dad's quotes all over her. Thankfully, my wife and her mom with her dad, the last things they said to Bob, who is a great man, was, "I love you." And I think this is a nice piece of perspective and a moment to tell everybody, like, hey, tell your people you love them. You literally have no idea what's going to come. It can literally be the last time you see somebody, anytime you see them.
Hang on, Brandon. I'm literally wanted to text my mom and my dad and my husband. I want to tell everybody, take a break. I got to text everybody, I love you. And you do. Like I was saying, I feel like we learn a lot of lessons hearing the words and conversations of other people. And you hear this message a lot from families that you work with, and how there can be estate repercussions that may arise later. So the idea of working to safeguard our legacy before something unforeseen happens. How do you help folks figure that out?
Yeah, great reminder. Like you were just saying, you want to text someone. Yeah. You're probably thinking, you listening, you're thinking of someone too that you want to text or wish you could text. I know I think of, my mind goes to my mother-in-law, who they called me. We were at it was like some friends were having, I can't remember what, it was a baby shower or something.
Yeah.
It was like this fun event I was at, and I get a call from my dad and Linda were on the phone. They said, hey, can we talk to you for a minute? And they told me about her cancer. She just got diagnosed with cancer, and and then she passes away within 3 months. Jeez. Right. So super, super fast. And I know, a lot of us can even think of tragic situations, right, where sudden and tragic things have happened to loved ones, and you didn't even have 3 months, right? So I say, or let me encourage you to say, I love you often. Okay, I tell people you love them often. So I want to put that out there. But so in my world, as we talk legacy here, nobody likes to think about that because it's just so sad, but if you don't do this planning, you are leaving a legacy, okay? Whether you do this planning or not. Yep. And I sit here and think of Prince, right? The artist formerly known as Prince, Michael Jackson, right? I'm trying to think
Aretha Franklin,
yes. People that did not do the planning.
We have if we have learned nothing from celebrities, learn about the lack of planning that celebrities do. It's so crazy to think about how some of the most successful people in the world do not have legacy plans.
And you're like, you had people around you, financial advisors, surely you would think. Surely. And nobody said, hey, Prince, hey, I know you're going to live forever. Long live the Prince. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got to, there's a lot here at stake here,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm just sitting there thinking, I can think of many stories where I've had clients come into the office and where their parents did the proper planning and it's been such a good experience. I mean, well, it's been so
such a much more positive experience
Yes,
because it's a stressful time, and so it's one less thing for them to worry about.
Right. When everything has been turned upside down and just it's so emotional to know that dad still took the time to put this thought into place. It took away all the the stress and the things that could go wrong.
Yep.
Which leads me to let me talk about some of the areas that we can address here. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think there's about 5 that I want to touch on. And so the first one would be, it's kind of easy, would be to just double check your beneficiaries. Okay.
Got it.
And so this, especially on your IRAs, okay, 401ks, IRAs, this is that qualified, the tax deferred money. Okay. I want you to have people listed there. Okay. Real people, not a trust. Okay. Because if that trust was set up before the Secure Act went into place, there's actually some problems going on.
Really?
Okay? I'm not a lawyer, but I can refer you to several if you have an attorney, an estate attorney, you can go talk to them and see if your trust has been updated since the Secure Act.
Okay.
But, but if it goes to a person, well, we can now stretch out that tax bomb for 10 years.
Also want to make sure it goes to the right person. So
Yes,
if you
to
are
the right-
you are remarried, for example,
Yes. Yeah.
that can create a pretty messy situation if you haven't checked your beneficiaries in a long time.
And think of okay, you're talking about the primary beneficiary, but I say, what about the contingent beneficiaries? Okay. Maybe there's been some more grandkids or kid, whatever, so check the contingent beneficiaries as well.
Yep.
Okay. So there's that one. I would say, double check your account types.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm getting into the weeds a bit here because there's a big difference between an individual account versus a transfer on death. We call it a TOD. Okay. So as you might imagine, a TOD account upon your demise transfers on death. Okay. So it's just boom. It goes straight to your as opposed to an individual account where it just kind of sits there for the state to come along and for everything to go to probate. Okay. So we got to check those account types. So you might just need to re-register that account, and we can help you do that. Okay. The next one would be, do you need a revocable living trust? Okay. The number one reason to do a revocable living trust is to avoid probate. So if you have saved well, if you've got some things, I like to say, if you've got some assets, if you got some stuff going on there, a lot of savings, maybe property, whatever, you want to have a revocable living trust. It's revocable. You can change your mind. Okay. So don't feel like you're giving up control when you get a trust in place. In fact, you're adding more control. Okay. Because you can control this money from the grave even. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you can change your mind. It's revocable, right? If you're the trustee, you can change the rules inside there. Okay.
Okay.
But the trust never passes away. Okay. So that's the idea is we have that revocable living trust, to avoid probate. If you go to probate, this is some of the worst. I can tell you plenty of stories. Probate usually takes, on average, 1 to 2 years. The cost is usually about 10% of the gross estate in lawyer fees.
Really?
Okay. So if you're talking
quick math, like $1 million, that's $100,000 gone.
Yeah. If it's a $2 million estate, $200,000, the lawyers are like, thank you very much. Everything's public record.
Yep.
There's no privacy. Okay.
Yep.
And oftentimes it rips families apart because it takes so long. Somebody wants their money and somebody's not, moving quick. Like it's the worst. It's the worst. Okay. But if you have the trust in place from the privacy of the lawyer's office, I'm going to drive over to the lawyer's office. I'm going to meet with you guys. We're all going to meet there together. Everything's going to be disseminated privately, quickly. Okay. The next one would be, are your non-qualified accounts being managed properly? Okay. Because, and what I'm talking about there is we want to maximize that step up in cost basis. Okay. So if your investments pass as an inheritance, then that growth is tax free. Okay. As opposed to grandpa or grandma selling something while they're still alive. Well, they got to pay, the capital gains on that. Okay. So we want to make sure we're managing it properly, that it's not being over traded. Okay. And then lastly, I would say is if you have a business, say you've worked, 30, 40 years, you've grown a business, or you have land maybe in the family, their investment properties, right? Anything that might need additional planning, we can help, because what you want to start thinking about there is if you sell that business, should you sell, let me ask you a question, should you sell the property or should you sell it as shares? Okay. Big question, because the answer there depends on if you're the buyer or the seller. Okay. There's big benefits if you sell something a certain way versus if you buy something another way. So I can help you take a look at that. And then of course, refer you to attorneys, things like that. So if you've got a lot of stuff going on, or maybe you're not a small business owner, but you might know somebody, right? That is a good friend. Maybe, they've got a small business and, they're kind of like keeping an ear out to like, I might listen to some offers for someone to buy my business. I'm done. I'm over it. I want to travel. I want to do fun things with my kids and grandkids, right? So if you or someone like that, let me encourage you to pass my information along to them, because this is it could be multiple millions of dollars of difference of what goes into yours or their pockets. Okay.
Yeah.
Just with the right planning in place.
Yep.
So just to recap real quick, the first would be double check your beneficiaries. Number 2, double check your account types. Number 3, do you need a revocable living trust in place? Number 4, are your accounts being managed properly? And then number 5, if you need to sell a business or, something like that, then we can help.
A large sellable asset.
That's right. A sellable asset.
Okay.
So those are the 5 areas that I would love to come alongside. And what this is called here is basically our legacy plan review. Okay. We can go down through this, take a look at these. Some of the things might apply to you, some of them not so much, but I want to give you an unbiased second opinion on your legacy, because you're going to leave one, whether you like it or not. Now, I prefer that you leave a beautiful one, one where the kid, it's
exactly
light.
what you want it to be. Yep.
It's exactly what you want it to be. It's going to the right people. What if your kids get divorced? Okay, well, we want to make sure it stays in the family, right? There's so many things that we can look at and make sure things go where you want it to go.
Yep.
So if you know that you need this legacy plan review right now, let me encourage you to head on over to bowenwealth.com and click on that contact tab so we can begin this process with you right now.
Thanks for listening to Charleston's Retirement Coach Podcast with Brandon Bowen. To learn more, visit bowenwealth.com and join Brandon for his radio show, Charleston's Retirement Coach, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 94.3 WSC.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Brandon Bowen is licensed in your state, please call 843-203-2030. J. Brandon Bowen is an investment advisor representative of Bowen Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. J. Brandon Bowen is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Bowen Wealth, LLC, insurance licensed in South Carolina. Market Guard is a registered investment advisor with the SEC and provides model portfolios only to Impact Partnership Wealth. Market Guard makes no implied warranties or representations and is not liable for any data presented.